guys, welcome back. My name is Gabrielle and I had a completely different idea for today's video. I was going to do the if all my makeup disappeared, what would I repurchase thing, but I didn't plan ahead in the sense of thinking and I didn't think about the makeup I would actually repurchase first. And I was looking at my collection and I was like, I don't know. So I could still do that video in the future, but I sat down and I was going to do it and I was like, I don't think I have the answers right now. So I was going through my notes app and looking at video ideas I had written down, and I came across the first makeup tag. I totally forgot about this and I wanted to do it. This was created by Glitter Fallout here on YouTube. I watch Glitter Fallout, so definitely check her out if you haven't. I think that she's fun to watch. These are just questions about like, it kind of is what it sounds like. It's just like, what was your first, kind of like the things that got you into makeup, the first time you did this with makeup, the first time you did that. And I just thought that I would give it a shot for myself. So if you're interested in hearing me answer questions about my makeup journey, which has been quite a few years in the making now, then just hang out and subscribe and we will get started. Okay, so the first question is simply, what first made you interested in makeup? So my mom has always worn makeup and I've always been interested in her makeup. She didn't have like a huge collection or anything. She didn't really have any eyeshadow palettes or like a whole lot of blushes or bronzers or highlighters or anything like that. She really just kept it very simple and had like eyeliner and concealer, foundation, and lipstick. And I remember always playing with her lipsticks. Like I would smell them. Okay, and I don't feel weird about that, okay, because any Robert Welsh video you will watch, he sniffs his makeup, and I think it's so hilarious. I feel like seeing her collection and just being nosy and being a child and digging through things, I was just like, oh, okay, this is cool. But then my sister was the one to actually have eyeshadow palettes and have like blushes, bronzers, highlights, and like do the whole enchilada and like really play. And I feel like she was the first person I saw like really use makeup as an art form, especially for Halloween. Like she really goes in on Halloween, and she's done my makeup a few times. Like I was Maleficent, I was Cleopatra, I was a Chola. She did my makeup for my quinceañera as well. Like my sister just really kind of showed me like, hey, makeup is fun. I didn't start doing it right away, but it really made me appreciate makeup in general, instead of, you know, just being like, oh, people that wear makeup are just insecure, because that was really the narrative in like the 2000s and the early 2010s, that if you wear makeup you are just ugly or something, right? I feel like, yeah, that just kind of opened the door for me, and I started to wear makeup in really high school. But in high school I didn't wear much, but I always had to have some lipstick on and winged eyeliner. Lipstick and winged eyeliner was kind of like my signature, which I think is so funny because I don't wear winged eyeliner anymore. Like I just stopped trying. Like it's hard. It's hard to do. It would like frustrate me a lot, even though I would do it all the time. I would be late for school because I couldn't do my fucking eyeliner. So I just decided, I drew a line and I was just like, enough is enough. Okay, like Smoky Glow once said, like, she doesn't do lashes. I think she said this about eyeliner too. She's like, I don't do certain things because they stress me out and makeup is supposed to be fun. And I agree. I just agree with that sentiment a lot. So that is what made me interested in makeup. And the next question is, what's the first makeup you ever remember applying? Besides like the lipsticks in my mom's little makeup bags, I feel like the first time I actually sat down and was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put some makeup on, I put on like a purple eyeshadow and I just put it all over my lid. I didn't do like this crazy intricate look. Like clearly I kind of have on an intricate look today, which this will be on my TikTok at some point. I don't know when. This is a makeup look that I'm kind of thinking of wearing when I go see Beyonce. I'm not seeing her until July, but her tour did start and everybody's talking about it on Twitter, and it's just getting me really excited to go see her. And I did look at the set list, okay? I did look at the set list and I'm quite happy with it. I was just like so inspired to put on like a disco look, and so this was kind of like my version of that. So yeah, that will be on TikTok eventually. But anyways, What was I saying? Yeah, I put on this purple eyeshadow, and then I think I put on eyeliner. I didn't do a wing. I just kind of put it, you know, like on top of my lid, and I think that was all I did. I was just using like my cousin's makeup, and we were just in the basement, so there was no lighting. You know, and this was like, again, like early 2010s, early to mid 2010s. Honestly, when I looked at myself, I thought I looked weird. I was like, whoa, like I don't know what it was. Like, was I not used to seeing color on my face? Because like I had worn makeup before then, because again, from like my sister. But I looked at myself and I was like, oh, I probably had just thought that like I did a really bad job and that I was like, oh no, I can't do this. This is hard. But like, I don't have a photo of it because again, I thought I looked silly. That's the first time I remember actually trying to get into makeup and doing it myself. I guess I just had to get used to seeing myself with colors on my face. But that was the first time. Who was the first makeup YouTuber you remember watching? Okay, I'm pretty sure this is the answer. And if it's not, it was probably just some random person and I don't remember their name. But the first person I remember watching, because I searched on YouTube, Gwen Stefani Urban Decay palette. Because I was like, oh, people do makeup videos on YouTube now, so maybe, you know, I'll find something, because I was thinking of getting it for my sister for Christmas. And I wanted to know if it was good. So I searched it. And so this was the first time I watched makeup YouTube, and it was Laura Lee. I watched her video reviewing the palettes. I ended up watching that video multiple times because I was so new to makeup that I was just like, oh, I want to know how to like create a look. And everything just, you know, seemed so difficult to me at the time because I hadn't done it for myself. And I just wanted to like take note and make sure that I'm like doing it right, you know. I ended up, you know, watching her channel. I don't really watch her that much anymore. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because of the incidents with, you know, the apology video she posted. I still think it's funny. Like, it's been so long, but I'm just like, you know, saying the N-word on Twitter is not, it's not really the vibes. So I kind of just haven't really watched her much since then. If she has, you know, grown and changed, then that's great. And I feel like she has, right? I think, and she has released a couple of palettes, like her palette with her niece. I thought that was a pretty palette. I didn't buy it because I'm like, I don't know if I like need it, but I thought that it was nice. She was the first person I remember watching, and yeah, I used to watch her like religiously, and then I started watching Nikki Tutorials, Jaclyn Hill, you know, like that's when I started getting really into it. And I kind of looked to makeup YouTube as a comfort after a while. Like 2016, the year of beauty YouTube, 2016 was an awful year. Okay, it was not a good year for me personally. And one of the things that made that year bad for me was I was working at a really, really shitty job. I would be at work and I would just be, you know, stressed from the rushes or whatever it is, or just annoyed by my coworkers because I had unbearable coworkers. I had a really terrible boss that cut my hours because I had a panic attack. Like, it was just a lot, you know, and the commute was 2 hours. Okay, it was just like not worth it in any aspect at all. So I don't know why I didn't quit sooner, but I would be at work and I would just be like, I just want to be laying down in bed watching some fucking makeup videos. Okay, and I would look forward to it. You know, I would look forward to just going home, putting on some YouTube, watching some soothing makeup content, and I kind of still do that. You know, like I watch different people now, but I kind of still look forward to watching content if I know that a creator I like posts on certain days. I'm like, oh, let's see if they posted today, you know? And if they didn't, it's fine. Like, I'll live. I guess I just never really got over my love for beauty YouTube. You know, even people like Jordan Hans, who does like face paints and special effects and stuff like that. Like, I just enjoy watching really creative people or people with great techniques or just fun ideas like this, like tags just talking about your collection, custom palettes. I love custom palettes, and just, yeah. All that to say, the first person I watched was Laura Lee. Okay, so I kind of answered this. Who was your first true makeup muse, and who are your current ones? So yeah, my first true makeup muse, like, oh my god, I want to be you, was Nikki Tutorials. Like, I would watch her videos as she would post them, but then I just went back and watched so many of her previous videos. Like, I just kept going back and back and back, and I was just like, wow, like, I loved the way that she would play with color. I loved her placements. I loved her blend. Like, she was just really, really talented with makeup. And I wouldn't say that that talent went away necessarily. It's just like now she's like on TikTok, which is fine. I do go on TikTok, but like I just don't see her content that much anymore, basically. I would have to like seek out for it. And I feel like her makeup skills have actually improved since like 2016. Like, she has like small eyes like mine, and she would kind of put her shimmers like just where her lid is, so that when she would look straight ahead you couldn't see the shimmers. But she's kind of gotten better at like blowing it out, making it so that you can see the sparkle when you're looking at her. And just like I put my shimmers above my crease. I have pretty small eyes. She's still great. I mean, you know, nothing, she hasn't really stopped being good at makeup necessarily. Is she getting more into like the indie space? Because she tried to say Cleona, but she said Cleone, and she called them duochromes, and I was like, oh. You know, like, no, you know, but I think she bought like the entire stained glass collection, which is like, what, like $400. And then I just saw a recent post of hers where she was using Terra Moons, so I was like, oh cool, like she's getting into the indie stuff. But maybe those brands will get even bigger, you know, with somebody like her promoting them. Yeah, she was definitely like the first person where I would take screenshots, I would take notes of like the steps she took, and I was just like so in love with her looks. Oh, my current ones, ooh, that's rough. Like, I really like Heather Austin's looks. Like, I'm so jealous of her eye shape. Like, she has like deep set eyes, so there's just so much space for shimmers, and I'm just like, man, I wish that I had that, but you know, it's fine. So she does use like really sparkly shimmers on her lids and stuff. She does use like really interesting colors, and I just enjoy that. I find often that I like the lipsticks that she uses, and they're usually like custom. Like, she mixes a bunch of things together, and I really like her looks as well. I like Baddie Bean's looks a lot. Like, I think that she's creative with color, like a lot more creative than I am, and I just enjoy that, you know, she goes bold with her makeup, you know, just to like go to work or just to go about her day. Like, I always really appreciate that when somebody just isn't afraid of color and isn't afraid of just like stepping outside of the box for their makeup. S Andromeda E, I kind of consider them a friend. We talk on Discord, and they do really interesting looks. Like, they're all about the sparkle as well, and I just love like the colors that they use, just really blown out, sparkly. They do interesting lip colors. Like, I think that they do really nice looks as well. Heather Morehouse, You Will Always Be Famous. Like, she's no longer on the internet. She hasn't been for like 3 years maybe, but she was so inspiring. Like, whether she was being creative, whether it was for Halloween, whether it was just like the way that she again would like play with color, she was a legend. She was so good. Like, I just really loved her content, and I totally understand she doesn't want to be on the internet anymore, and she, you know, hasn't come back. I understand, like, the internet is draining. But man, if she were to come back, she doesn't have to, but if she were to, I would be like first in line. Like, oh my God, yes. We have what she's given us in the past. And even if you just like need inspiration or just want to see something really cool and creative, just like check out her page. Glam Smitty on Instagram. So she normally does like BYOP's custom palettes. Her color stories are fucking gorgeous. Like, they make me so happy. I saved so many of her posts, and I'm just like, man, she just really inspires me to like go through my collection and to just think of color stories for myself. Nooper Makeup, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. She's Indian, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So if you know how to say it or anything like that, please correct me. She is somebody that I discovered recently, and she does really interesting like palettes as well. She did a Stardew Valley custom palette that I thought was really cute. Her looks are also really pretty. Like, she also has like a really nice eye shape, which is a weird thing to say out loud, but I love the way that she puts shimmers all over the eyes. And she calls her page like a place for simple, colorful looks, I think, right? Even if she considers them simple, I think that they're really pretty, and I really like the way that she like messes around with color. And she does a lot of, her and Glam Smitty, they do a lot of swatches for like tan skin, like medium skin tones. So if you needed a resource like that, there you go. What was the first higher end makeup product you bought, Mac? It was MAC. It was MAC Russian Red and MAC Relentlessly Red. And then I got a lip gloss, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was pink. And pretty much the person that was helping me like really suckered me in, like you know, it was just one of those things where they kind of were just trying to get you to buy more things, which is like, it's fine, like make your money off of your commission. But I remember she like had me test a lip gloss, and it looked so sparkly that I literally said like, holy shit. And like, you know, I was like, well, I have no choice but to get it, right? And we all know the story of the lip gloss. They're so sticky. I really don't remember what shade it was. I just know it was like a hot pink. Relentlessly Red is like a really bright pink. I remember I lost it, and I was like, oh no, like I lost it. And then my mom found it like in the kitchen behind like this buffet drawer that she has, and she was like, oh look. And I was like, oh my god, like I used to wear that shade a lot, which is funny because I don't really wear bright pinks like that anymore. And then Russian Red was just a red. It wasn't Ruby Woo. I can't really explain what the difference was between Ruby Woo and Russian Red, but I wore Russian Red to hell. Like I wore it all the time at school. And then I would see like Tumblr posts of like MAC shades, and I saw media, and I bought it like instantly. I bought like so many MAC lipsticks. Like I just have a soft spot for MAC. I do, because they were like my first memory, which is pretty crazy because MAC has been around since the 80s. And for me, someone who's only 25, to say like, oh yeah, MAC, they bring back so much nostalgia. Like even for someone like me, like I think that that's just funny that they're kind of like Super Mario. Middle-aged people have nostalgia for Mario, and then like people my age have nostalgia, and then like today's children are in love with Mario. And I feel like that's the same with MAC. I don't know if kids are buying MAC per se, but you know, I'm sure there's a bunch of teenagers that are like, oh wow, look at this. You know, even if we think that MAC's launches are boring now, I'm sure that there's still like somebody just getting into makeup, somebody just wanting to try things out, and they see that MAC is a popular brand, and they go in their store and they fall in love because they just see like so many cool things. It's just one of those things, man. Like I wonder if MAC is still that brand for people, or if it's a different brand now. I don't know, but I just have a soft spot. Like I do. And I've had their eyeshadows, which they're not the best eyeshadows. I did declutter them, like all of them. And then when I did make my purchase, I took a picture of the bag and I put it on my Instagram, and I was like, I'm so excited. Like I like, it was a thing. I didn't have a makeup Instagram at the time. It was just my personal Instagram. And I believe that was, I want to say 2015. I think I was a senior. I'm going to guess 2015, yes. What was the first makeup purchase you waited for and bought the second it was released? Oh, okay. So when I was first thinking of an answer to this question, I was like, I didn't really start doing that till 2020, but that's a lie. The first thing I bought on release was the Nikki Tutorials collab with Too Faced. And it was trash. Okay, like it was pretty bad. Like I think I only used the palette once. Like it just wasn't good. It didn't really have any pigmentation or anything like that. And I honestly don't remember much else of the collection. Like we got a purple Better Than Sex, and then it came with other things, but I don't remember them. I just remember you had to buy it as a bundle. You could not buy just one thing. No, you had to buy the whole thing, and it was like $60 something, I believe. So I was just like, oh sure, like I'll do anything for Nikki. But like, you know, that collab ended up being really bad. And then there's just all this drama about like Nikki, when I say only getting paid $10,000, I know to some people that might be like, oh, only 10,000, but like it really isn't a lot compared to how you're supposed to make money from collabs, right? Like you're supposed to get a profit of each unit sold, right? And so she was just given this flat rate of $10,000. And it's like, when you think about like Jaclyn Hill and Morphe, when they sold like 1 million palettes, like literally 1 million palettes, it's like, damn, I could only imagine how much she made, you know? That was the first thing I bought on release. And I didn't really do anything like that again for a few years. Like, I don't think I did that again until 2020. It wasn't very good. And I really haven't bought anything from Too Faced in a long time. Man, years, like before COVID, like easily before COVID, you know. I just haven't really cared. They do some really weird things. Like I know Jared Blandino's not the owner anymore, but I will not get over the Rich Lives Matter cake. I will not get over that. What was the first time you had your makeup done by someone else and did you like it? So my sister did my makeup a lot, like I said. I was a tomboy when I was like a preteen and adolescent, and so I feel like they were trying to feminize me. Which is like, let me live. But I remember they put makeup on me and they like curled my hair and things like that. I don't think I've ever gotten my makeup done by somebody else and not liked it. Like, I don't remember which exactly was the first time because like my sister did it. And then I got my makeup done at the Lancome counter at Macy's because my mom wanted me to go to the Lancome counter. And I got that done for a photo shoot for my quinceañera. And then on the actual day of my quinceañera, my sister did my makeup. So yeah, I would say that whether it was her or the lady at the makeup counter, like, I enjoyed it. I liked it, you know. I was never one of those people that was like, oh, let me take this shit off or anything. Like, I always enjoyed it, you know, even when I kind of didn't want to, because I was like, let me be a tomboy, like, let me be myself. But I feel like I always couldn't help but just feel pretty and think that I looked pretty. What's the makeup product you own that should be the first one thrown out in a declutter, but you just can't do it? So this is a hard one to answer because I did go through my makeup collection and put aside the things that I want to declutter. And the thing is that I don't have those things with me right now because I hauled it to the building me and Danny are gonna live in. So we like hauled some things over there, and so I took those over there as well. I was like, oh, we're not, you know, gonna be needing this for a month. And so I can't really remember like which palettes I want to declutter or like anything else, but I feel like I've been pretty good about not keeping super old palettes. Like the super old palettes that I did have, like when I still had Morphe palettes or even like Too Faced palettes, I've gotten rid of those. I feel like most of the stuff I have isn't super old. I feel like maybe one of the oldest palettes is this Makeup Geek palette that my sister got me when she visited like a brick and mortar store. I don't know if it was a Makeup Geek store specifically, but she got it from like this brick and mortar store in Soho. And so that could be like an answer. Like I have that. I have had that for a pretty long time. Also, I still have my Makeup Geek singles, and I still have like a single from Colored Rain, a single from this brand called Belfiore that I haven't heard of in forever. I still have a few ColourPop singles from when they first did their singles. I think that was the first time they ever did eyeshadow. These are Makeup Geek, and then I think these are ColourPop. And this is the Colored Rain one. This is in the shade Chocolate. And then this is the Belfiore single in the shade Persimmon. I think I saw Nike tutorials use these, and that's why I bought them. But I had swatched a bunch of my singles, and some of them just weren't giving off any pigment anymore, and so I kept the ones that were. But I feel like I have a bit of a sentimental place for Makeup Geek shadows, and it's not necessarily because they don't exist anymore. It's because they were like some of the first singles I ever owned. Like, I'm in love with single eyeshadows, whether it's mattes or shimmers, mostly shimmers. It just kind of brings back memories looking at them. Like Mocha, I used the shadow a lot because when I used to do like kind of special effects looks or like body painting or something like that, I would always use this as like a shadow, and that was something that Jordan Hans used to do, so I got this shade just because of her. And I really liked it a lot for like shadows. This is a pretty cool tone eyeshadow, so I could use it in a look. I just, you know, I look at like the dip in it and it just reminds me of like the times that I used to use it for those reasons. I also still have Cocoa Bear, which also has a little bit of a dip as well. I kind of like the fact that it's still called Cocoa Bear because she named it this because this is what she used to call her now ex-husband, and so she changed the name to Cheetah Bear. But I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of a historical artifact. Something else though that I probably should throw away, but I just don't want to. This is the KVD Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Plath. So I should get rid of this for a few reasons. I don't really wear liquid lipstick that much. I did wear this one recently and it was fine. Like, I'll tell you that, like, it was fine. It doesn't smell off, but I don't wear liquid lipstick much anymore. I prefer like something more comfortable. Even if it doesn't last all day, I just prefer comfort. I got this when Kat Von D was still in the brand. Like, that's how long I've had this. Like 2017 or 2018 is when I got it. I saw a picture of her wearing this shade and I was like, oh, I need that. and I bought it. It's just such a pretty color. Like, I just love like deep colors like this. Like, is that not just so pretty? It's just like this deep brownie red, and I wore it the other day, like I said, and I still really like this lipstick. I don't even really like Sylvia Plath. I read The Bell Jar and I did not enjoy myself. Like, I found her storytelling to be all over the place, and I also found her racist. So ever since then, I'm like, I don't really know about you, Miss Sylvia. This is probably one of the oldest lipsticks that I have. Well, aside from like my MAC bullet lipsticks, those are pretty old. I didn't get rid of them. I just left them at my brother's house. And I hope he didn't throw them away. Those two, I don't want to get rid of them. Like, I bought so many in like 2015 and 2016, and I feel like I just grew really nostalgic for those colors. I just don't have them with me right now physically, but I keep meaning to like go grab them from my brother's house. Okay, the last question here is, what's the first thing someone should know about makeup? I feel like I could easily talk about like color theory, and I could easily talk about like, oh, make sure you know your shade match, which is important. Those things like are important, and it is pretty important to know your shade match. But to someone that's just starting out, to someone that is just getting fascinated with it and the idea of, you know, putting all these colors on their face, it's just like, just do the looks that make you feel pretty. Like, at the end of the day, makeup does make you feel pretty. And it's okay for that to be the end goal of putting makeup on, is to feel pretty, you know? Like, what else are we supposed to do? Just do what makes you feel good. Just do what makes you feel a little more confident, maybe. Just put on the colors that you like. You don't have to wear it every day if you don't want to. You don't have to do dramatic looks all the time. You could easily just do like a one shadow look. You could easily just spot conceal or anything like that. Like, I look at old pictures of myself with makeup on and I think, oh, like that's what I looked like? Oh, that's strange. And you know, I think about the trends that I used to follow years ago and how I just don't do that anymore, or how my makeup style has just changed so much from even like 3 years ago. At the time, I felt pretty. At the time, I felt like, yeah, I would like to walk around like this. I would like to be seen like this. And so who cares? And how I used to do my makeup, like, I felt good when I did it, you know? And sure, I would like to think that my skills have improved and that I do better techniques and things like that. But, you know, maybe I'll look at pictures of myself from today in a few years and think like, oh, wow. But I feel pretty now. Like, I'm wearing my potential Beyonce disco look and I feel really good. So I feel like that's really just what matters when it comes to makeup. So just have fun. Hi.
It's raining.
I'm sorry. Well, that was all of the questions, and I had fun doing this tag. I think it's fun to kind of think about the first when it comes to like a certain thing that you love. Like, you could do this with really any hobby that you have. You could do this with music, with movies, with like record collections, which relates to music, but like perfumes. Like, you could do this with pretty much any hobby that you have, and I think it's fun. Shout out once again to Glitter Fallout. I am jealous of her because she has really cute cats. But it's okay. I also have the cutest boy Growlithe. If you want to do this tag, I mean, I assume that you can feel free to do it as long as you credit the person that created it. And just, I would love to hear your guys' answers if you have any, even if they're just like in the comments or whatever. I would love to chat down below. But I think I've said everything that I needed to say. So follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Gabrielle rizz-uh. And thank you so much for watching as well. You've been a lovely audience, and I'll talk to you later.